Perfect Talk is what it do. It's your guy DJ Playboy. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's go. On this episode, we're going to talk about your guy, Ron Desantis, announcing his presidential campaign. Also, we're going to talk about Nas and Jada Pinkett Smith being accused of cultural appropriation by the Egyptian people. Also, Target decided after some backlash that they're going to remove some of their Pride merchandise. And also, Lebron hints at retirement. Will he or won't he? Who knows? It's the Perfect Talk podcast, baby.
DJ Playboy.
What's good, y'all? It's your guy, DJ Playboy, back with another episode of the Perfect Talk podcast. And you know I don't like doing any episode without my guy, my partner, my brother, Spec. What it do, brethren?
What's good, people? It's your boy. I'm back.
Spec back in the house, man. Always a pleasure to have you here, man. How you been?
I've been good, man. It's Friday. TGIF.
Nice
Long
3-day weekend. You know what I mean? Long weekend. You know what I mean?
I didn't even realize that till this morning. So
yeah,
that it was Memorial Day. So I'm certainly happy about that.
You know, I got my cold brew on deck, man. I gotta stay energized. I can never forget Memorial Day. It's my birthday. It always falls on my birthday. So that's the one holiday I'm always, well versed on. And just, everything else, man. I'm happy for the holiday, happy for the birthday, happy for everything, man. It was crazy. I got my brakes fixed today. That came out of nowhere.
Well, they failed out of nowhere or something?
They was making a weird sound.
Oh, okay.
They was making a wild sound. Yeah, the cranking and grinding, actually. Metal on metal.
It was really that tough.
Exactly.
So it was beyond the screeching.
We know what it skipped screeching. It kind of went from like it was like a weird, like kind of like kind of sound, and then it started doing.
Did you know, like when you heard that prior sound, did you know what it was?
I knew it was coming around that time. I had no idea what it was. Even when it started making the cranking sound, I had no idea what it was. But luckily, right, it's funny how God worked. It's this one dude. It's literally right down the block, my daughter's bus stop, and this dude will give me a ride back from the bus stop to my crib, and just talking to him through the past couple of months, realized he's nice with cars, and he had mentioned it to me one time. And then my current mechanic couldn't see me until like next Thursday or next Friday. And I'm like, that's a little shaky to push it, you know what I mean, until next week. So just telling him about the problem. He actually diagnosed it real quick in the morning, and then we just went with it. So, it definitely works out. So far, so good. And it's funny because I had a bad experience doing the homie, repair job one time. And lo and behold, it actually was with brakes. It worked. It got me home, and then the next day, them joints just hit my pedal, and it would not stop, bro. So, you know what I mean? Keeping my fingers crossed, sign of the cross, you know what I mean? Hopefully it works out this time. But so far, so good, you know what I mean? And it's funny how God worked, too, because it was like, there's no reason for him to actually give me a ride. Like, it's not that far of a walk. Mm-hmm. But I think it was because I'd be walking with all the, like, the moms and shit. And it just looks...
Is that the corner?
Yeah. It's like not too far from the corner. Well, not the corner, but it's like a block up. But it's like it's really not a far walk or anything like that. But I think, I'll be honest, it's like in the back of my head, I think, like how it just sometimes it just don't look. It look weird for like a married woman to be walking with like another man, even though we just talking about parent stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to holler, but just the optics of it. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe that might be why he just be like, yo, let me just get this guy a ride. You know what I mean? So he don't get beat up by somebody's husband or something crazy like that. But now it's beautiful how God works, man. That was dope. What else happened, man? I sold something on eBay. I'll be doing my hustling thing on eBay. Okay. And I sold something. And this was the first time I had sold something like internationally. I didn't even know eBay really did international. Like I had an offer, and the dude was in Canada, and I was about to shut it down. Okay. But then it's it's good to do your research and find out. Then I figured eBay had an international program, and you really just ship it to their domestic center, and then they take care of it from there. So it was real smooth process. They sent me to Walgreens. That was the closest one in. I'm like, I got a Walgreens right down the street. Let me go. You go to any FedEx center, but I'm like, let me go to Walgreens because they said they'll print the packing label for you and all that. So I walk in there and I asked her, I was like, can I ship a box here? It was a car part, and she was like, she said we can't print the printing label for you, and I was like, oh snap, what I gotta go do that? She's like, I think you gotta go to like the FedEx center. She like sent me all the way to Albany. I don't, for anybody out there, I don't live in Albany, so it was like if I could avoid having to go, you know what I'm saying? And I'm literally like halfway out the store, and she was like, unless you got a QR code, And I was like, yeah, I do. She's like, oh yeah, we can help you. I was like, why you trying to shut me down so fast? I was halfway out the door, bro. Yeah, right. She was like, look, you got the QR code. But lo and behold, she did help me out. She saved me a trip to Albany, and I found out something dope about the eBay thing. So that's kind of fire.
You didn't have to incur international shipping costs.
Oh yeah. And I wouldn't have made no money off of it. Yeah, it would have been crazy. And then the funny thing is, I woke up like that's how my mind works. I'm turning like birthday on the precipice of my birthday. I remember back in the day, I never read directions. I'm not a direction guy. Like, I set this light up today. There was directions in there. There's parts of it because that's just complicated. There's parts of it I don't even know what the fuck it do. I'm like, I gotta look at the directions. But I just kind of like open shit up and use it sometimes. So like, I woke up thinking, shit, I gotta run to the postal office and see what day rates is, and then go run over to UPS and go see, compare with, and then lo and behold, I just click a couple things in the app, and it's like, oh yeah, you just go to the fucking Walgreens right down the street. But yeah, so that worked out sweet for me. I just been having some weird like retail issues lately. Like, I was in Target the other day, and the lady misrang something up for me, so it wasn't adding up. Mm-hmm. But I had already like finished up, and I peeped it, and I was like, oh, you charged me for a Purell. And then she was trying to do the return, right, just to give me my money back, and she messed something up, and she goes, why didn't it? She's like, oh, okay, I think it's all good. And I'm sitting here like, that ain't the reaction of it all went through as smooth as possible. Like, that was like and then the fact that, and I won't lie to you, bro, there's times in my life where I probably would just been like, all right, I guess so, Something is, I was like, nah, that don't seem right. I was like, you don't got like, and then they didn't print nothing out, no receipt or nothing. I'm like, they don't got a receipt for me to take home and nothing like that. And she was just like, it says in a couple days you should see it by paying your bank account. I was like, nah, that ain't it, man. But I was cool about it. I was like on maybe this type of shit I'm reading nowadays, maybe like the wave I'm on. I was like, me getting pissed off about this ain't gonna help out. Mm-hmm. And then me getting rude to her ain't gonna help out. So I was super nice to her, probably nicer considering she tried to just pull a fast one on me. But it was just like, I don't know, I was cool and calm, and then eventually they got the manager to give me my money back. But it'd be like, yo, why do that? If you know you messed up, just to say you messed up.
Did you get a receipt when the manager?
Yeah. And the manager was actually somebody I used to work with back in the day, so it was my guy. So he was when I told him everything that happened, he was cool and everything. I even told her it wasn't her fault. It was an honest mistake, but it was like, yo, this is what I'm
sounds like it was her fault.
It was 100% her fault. The bringing up the wrong thing. She rung up. You know how they keep hand sanitizer by the register? Yeah. She rung that up by mistake. So it was 100% her fault for that, and it was 100% her fault for trying to pull a fast. But me getting her in trouble ain't gonna do nothing for me. So I was like, and I go there all the time. It's like Target. So I was like, I have dealt with her before. There's been pleasurable experiences. So I just goes to show you, all like getting mad over shit, like it don't do nothing for me. And I'll be honest with you. Like, I've tried. Even what happened the other day. I had lost my AirPods, right? And I don't know if this is a diss to Apple. I got love for Apple, but this is the way that the Find your there's the Find My app, where if you lose your phone or you lose an Apple product, it'll track it. I think it works great with the phones, and I think it works great with the computer. I never like lost a laptop or a phone, but I lose my AirPods all the time. So I try to use it, and the way that it works is if someone's not using it at that exact second, it'll tell you the location you was at the last time it was used.
Okay.
Which doesn't help me at all, because it took me to like this corner store. It was like not too far from here, and I was like, all right, bet. I knew I had been there the day before. I was like, let me go back there. Went back there the next day. I was like, yo, did anybody turn in? I was describing what my AirPods look like, and I'm like, the joint's telling me it's here, like, you know what I'm saying? And the dude was just like, he didn't really want to help me anyway. But he went above and beyond what he probably wanted to do, and just looking, he went in the back and checked. He's like, nah, nobody. I gave him a business card. Like, if they find it, tell him hit me up. He's like, all right, whatever. You know what I mean? Man, I'm doing laundry later that night. That shit's in a pair of sweatpants in the hamper. So I'm like, fam, why you telling? What if I went in there with the Fury? Like, yo, it says it's here, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, like I said, I think it works great for like the actual products, like a phone.
But that was the last time you was actually
using it. So that was the last time it would have tracked the GPS. But I'm like, that's pointless to me. Tell me where it's at right this second. Like that shit made no sense to me. So
I guess if it's off and dead, the GPS can't.
It wasn't dead. It just wasn't. So I think if, let's say I did lose it and somebody was like, bet, I found new AirPods, let me connect them to my phone, it would have sent me an alert right away.
Right.
Yeah, but other than that, it can't do nothing till the next time. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's nothing's perfect. You know what I mean? But it's just like it's two situations where I could imagine that walking and being angry wouldn't have been done nothing for me. So it just goes to show, like, you just take shit easy sometimes. Take a breath, take a deep breath. You know what I mean? And just know that the goal of what you want to get ain't necessarily gonna get you there quicker by being angry and yelling at nobody. You know what I mean? That's what I learned from all that. But how you been, man? I know your Lakers got swept, bro. If y'all don't know, man, Spec, I think y'all can see it on the sign behind. He got the Lakers sign right there. I put that up for my guy Spec because he a huge LeBron fan. If you don't know, you know what I mean. One of the maybe the biggest. I gave this man LeBron Funko Pop for like his birthday or something like that. One of them Funko, the big ones though. You know what I'm saying? And like, because I know you're a real fan. You know what I mean. So how that feel like the getting the sweep, seeing, and then LeBron talking about retirement, like. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, obviously, you know.
What did he say that made people?
He was just like, I have a lot of things to think about. I mean, he didn't say I'm with it. He just said I have a lot of things to think about.
He's never ended a season like that, like saying something like that. Yeah.
Right. So, but we know it's coming near, right? So, but I didn't take it as, oh, he's gonna retire this offseason. Like, LeBron, and I don't know him personally, obviously, but based on what I believe I know about him, he's going to want his farewell tour. So the worst case scenario is, okay, training camp come rolling around, and he's going to announce at that point, this is going to be my last season, right? Mm-hmm. So, which, I mean, that's fine. Like I said, we know it's coming, you know, within the next year or two, especially if his son ever makes it to the league. So
he was injured. Right, he had a torn tendon in his foot, I heard, for the entire playoffs.
Oh, I know he had a foot injury. Yeah. I don't know the extent of it. So
yeah, I think that I've seen something. I don't know, like, I get information off of Twitter, and there's so many like parody accounts. Yeah. So it's like I seen something, and it looked like they say he's gonna get surgery in the offseason, but really? You don't know what to believe. You know what I mean? With the
yeah, I mean, I know he had an injured foot for sure, but yeah, like I didn't know the extent of it.
LeBron's a beast, man. How you at this age, bro? Like, I don't play no sports. I mean, I started this last episode that I did, like the previous one before this one, just saying I woke up with an injury and I don't know what it's from. Yeah,
I woke up with the injury.
I do not know what it's from. Sleep gave me an injury. This man is jumping up and down on the hardwood court, like really playing. You know what I'm saying? And
he takes care of himself.
Yeah. Nah, shout out to Denver though. They definitely was a beast to get. And you know, you can't obviously. It's what is it? They say hindsight is 20/20. But it's like I remember. It was like when the Knicks played the Heat, the game one. I was like, this ain't looking good for the Knicks. When the Nuggets played the Lakers game one, I was like, this gonna be an uphill battle for them. You know what I'm
saying? I didn't think they would get swept.
No one thought that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
they got beat by a better team, so I have no problem admitting that it wasn't a fluke win.
That was the number one, right, in the West.
They were the number one in the West,
and number one in the league. So, shout out to Denver. We gonna see where they go. This Miami-Boston series still going on, man. I thought this would have been done by now. I mean, maybe by the time y'all hear this, see this, it'll be done. But this, what were they up? They were up 3-0.
They were up 3-0.
Yeah.
Now they're up 3-2. Game 6 is tomorrow.
Heading back to Miami.
Is a must win for Miami. Because if they go back to Boston, it's a wrap. And Boston gonna make history.
First team, right? Yeah.
First team. I think in any sport, to be honest.
Down 3-0?
Yeah.
We'll see, man. Shout out to Miami. Good playoff so far. Good playoff so far. I hope the finals, you know what I mean, delivers too. I would love to see a good finals battle, but man, my guy Spec is in the building. And right about now, we got to go to my spotlight story. Plicca spotlight story, damn it. If you don't know, sometimes not even the biggest headline in the news, but something that caught my attention, and I figured we got to shine a light on him, give him some spotlight.
Let's do it.
The University of Wyoming sorority sisters say they live in fear of transgender member. I think I came across this one on like the Breakfast Club, maybe. I think Charlamagne was talking about this. I can't remember who he gave Donkey of the Day to, but it was a group of University of Wyoming sorority sisters that suing their sorority for accepting a transgender woman into their group. They said they live in constant fear in their own home because the student has become physically aroused around them. 7 women from the Kappa Kappa Gamma House have filed a lawsuit against the National Sorority Organization, its National Council President, and Artemis Langford, 21, a 6'2", 260-pound trans student. Why they? I've never seen them just have to. Why did they describe the height and weight? But it matters.
It matters.
Yeah, who joined their chapter in 2022. So this was something that I wanted to talk about because I think we're all about inclusion. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to leave nobody out. I think everybody should be involved in groups. But what I think we're doing as a society is you can't put inclusion ahead of safety, right? And so as much as I think transgender or whatever you identify as, we can sit here and name them all. Whatever you identify as, you should be allowed to go to school here. You should be allowed to get a job here. You should be allowed to live your life with certain freedoms. When we enter, and sports is probably the best way to bring it up, but like, I think we enter a gray area at the least and a very dangerous area at the most when you're gonna have women playing against transgender athletes, right? Someone that was born
male.
What do they call it? Assigned male at birth, right? And then now identifies as a transgender woman. That's dangerous. So now we getting sororities, right? Sororities. Why this makes it dangerous is sororities aren't just social groups where people come together. They do the frat house thing. They do the sorority house thing, right? They live together. You sleep there. These are literally your sisters in the sense that, like, we went through this together and now we sharing the same quarters, and just to prove how down we are, you know what I mean? We do everything together. Mm-hmm. So if members of this group are saying this person, not that this person shouldn't be in there, but now that we have let this person in there, we're starting to feel uncomfortable about this, to be ignored. And I believe they were told if it was something that they didn't like, they could leave. Now you're entering an area where I guess Plicca has an issue with that, because these girls, right, wouldn't let me, DJ Playboy, just join their sorority. Right. Wouldn't have been straight up tell me, hey, and I'd be like, hey, because I'm black? Well, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm from New York? No, because you're a dude. Right. We don't accept dudes. That's not like area where we're like, sorority's been fucked up for years, not letting dudes in. Like, fraternity's messed up, not letting chicks in. Like, that's kind of just been that's the rule. So not only did they stretch the rules or the letter of the law by accepting this person, they let this person into the sorority. Not only like they didn't like, don't rush, don't pledge. You know what I mean? You went through the pledge process, let you in the group. You've done something, which I think they're claiming that this individual got physically aroused. Which I won't lie, I didn't even know that was I wouldn't even understood this story years ago. Because I'm like, if you turn into a woman, how you getting aroused? But then,
well, I'm guessing they didn't
have the surgery. Yeah, which I did. But this just goes to show how new of a thing this is. If you would have talked about this 2-3 years ago, I'd have been like, if she's trans, and how do you know she's because to me, being trans doesn't mean you can have female parts and male parts.
They need separate words
to
describe like the phase that you're in, like, period.
Which, I mean, maybe that's more for our comfort than theirs. You know what I'm saying?
It matters.
Yeah. So like, this is
because if you're just dressing up as a woman but everything else is male, then technically you should not be allowed in anything that's all female.
Yeah. Because now you could be a cross-dresser, you could be a drag queen, you could be now even that what you just mentioned alone has a bunch of different categories of what they could fall into. So yeah, like I said, when I read the story, it was a bit of a mindfuck, because I wouldn't even go on a tangent here, but like I remember I was watching Pornhub one night, right, and I clicked on the wrong link. I clicked on the wrong link, bro. I remember as I'm watching, because you know how they show you the thumbnails. Yep. So I'm like, I know this chick. I seen, you know what I mean? I seen her work. She does. I know she's a woman. I seen her work. You know what I'm saying? And I'm watching it, and she's the only one in the thumbnail. Okay. So I'm watching it, and like, I don't know I don't know how you watch it. When I watch it, I'm not all over the screen. I'm focused in. I'm locked in.
Yeah.
I see like a little, like in the corner, whatever brand made it. You know what I'm saying, is in the corner. I'm watching the action on the screen. I see two women on the screen. It's like I glance over the corner. It says train something. I'm like, oh, all right, this might be a train. Be a bunch of, who knows, but a whole line of people about to walk up in this thing and do something. These two women, so whatever's gonna happen. I just know it's two women on the screen. I see train or something, and so I'm rocking and watching it, and I'm keeping up with it, right? Just regular action, a little massage scene going on, and then a schlong pop out. So I'm like, oh, wait, did I miss something? Did it glitch? Did it skip ahead? Like, and then I'm just like, and then they show the full, like, it's a woman parts with the schlong. And I look back over in the corner, see the brand train. I'm like, oh, that don't say train. That don't say train. And then I really felt deceived because they got an actress that do the regular stuff in it with her, or, with this individual. Right. So I'm like, oh, you set me up. You walked me into a fight. What's happening here? Like, I trusted you.
Now all the suggestions and yeah, we know what you like.
So in my head, fast forward to this story coming out, and I'm like, it scared the shit out of me too. So I can understand why these young ladies might be a little nervous by that. Why that's 100%, man. And that's the thing with inclusion, man. I'm all for inclusion, but I think we as a society know that inclusion ain't 100% for anything.
But I think that's where we need to get to that point of understanding. Inclusion just doesn't mean anybody, everybody. I don't like there needs to be boundaries, rules, all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, as it pertains to sororities, like, unless you have fully transitioned, and it's not even only pertaining to sororities, unless you have fully transitioned, and this is just my opinion, you should not be able to participate in anything that is, like, not co-ed. Like, if it's just females, then you need to be fully a female from head to toe.
Now, well, let's explain that a little bit more. So what would be the difference between them not having the surgery done and them having the full surgery?
So in this case, if the person had the full surgery, right,
mm-hmm.
we wouldn't have the instance where they're physically getting aroused
yeah.
where you can see that, because that I can only imagine that has to be extremely uncomfortable. If you're a woman, you're in the house, and obviously they gave the size and the weight, so this is a big person,
yeah.
And they're fucking hard. Like, you just see a penis.
It's like they want you to know they're hard. They're doing it. Anyone can hide. You know what I mean? Or walk away, put a pillow, something. They want you to obviously see that they're aroused. I think there's an argument there. Not to cut you. I think there's an argument there that even if you are fully transitioned, they still can.
But you wouldn't see it, and I mean, now obviously.
Well, think about the same dimensions. What they say, 6 foot, 200 and something pound.
Right. Just
because that person is not getting aroused doesn't mean that they don't make you feel uncomfortable.
Well, they can make you feel uncomfortable, but now that's just. So if there is a female, she was born a female, and she's just that size. I mean, what's going to be your argument against her?
And I'm playing devil's advocate here. Like, I don't even like fraternities or sororities. Not I don't dislike them, but I wasn't trying to join one in a sense. So I don't know how it is, but like, I'm thinking from my man, I'm trying not to get canceled. Try to choose my words correctly. Nah, I might be like, yo, I came here to join this team, right? Let's say get out of fraternities. I came to join this team or this fraternity or this group. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily want a man that's attracted to me in the group. I feel like I should be not allowed to say that.
What if? Yeah, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
But what if it's a female? We're talking. It's a female. She just happens to be that size, which may be abnormal for a female, but that's her size. I mean, and she can just like she could like girls.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, because now it's in a gray area.
You have no case against her in that situation.
No, they don't. They really don't. So, which is why the actual.
That's what I'm saying. Like, as long as you're fully transitioned, then you should be allowed. But anything other than that, then it starts to get murky.
Yeah, well, I think it's murky now because now I'm thinking in my, would they want a lesbian? I'm sure there's lesbian people who get discriminated against.
You can do about that.
But I'm sure they get discriminated against in these scenarios of sororities. Like, I'm sure they.
Yeah, I mean, but that.
But is it discrimination if it's like, I don't necessarily. So I guess the best way to put it is in a safety aspect. Let's all use it in the safety aspect. If let's say there's a 6 foot, 230-pound lesbian woman, and they feel unsafe around her, they should be allowed to express, yo, I feel unsafe around her.
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel unsafe around her if I didn't think she was sexually attracted to me. But I know that she is. Or she's doing something to let me know that she is.
Well, then that's be considered harassment. So now, versus she's just this size and she's gay.
Yeah.
Now, if she's like, advancing toward or doing things that, you know what I'm saying, that's harassment. But in this case...
But I think because they group all the letters together, LGBTQ, they're going to be like, yo, if you letting in the L's, how you going to keep out the T's? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's their case with the transgender.
Yeah, but then that's why, like I said, if unless you're fully transition, there needs to be categories, right? You can't be... Everybody can't be transgender just because you identify. Like, there needs to, if you should be considered transgender if you went through the full shebang. If you didn't go through the full shebang, it should be termed something else. That's just my opinion.
Yeah,
just so we can get that distinction.
It's such a murky, and it's probably expensive, I would imagine, right, to get the full.
Hell
yeah. So there's got to be a lot of people out there that, because of financial reasons, don't go the full bird.
I feel you. And you're not gonna get the full benefit. I mean, that's what it boils down to.
It's no, and it sucks. Because we're such a you're on this side or you're on that side nation, that we're taking it to say, because there's people who don't like transgender people for dumb reasons. Like, I don't know if me and you ever spoke about it, but I talked about it a lot of times on the show, the Bud Light boycott. So basically Bud Light did a
commercial.
Yeah, it wasn't even a commercial. It was like a brand. You know, like how they holler at influencers?
Okay.
Yeah. So they did like a brand licensing type of thing where they sent cans of Bud Light, and then they also made a personalized Bud Light for a transgender influencer.
Yeah, a lot of people had an issue with that.
Put her face on it. But they weren't selling them in stores. It wasn't like the next can of Bud Light, you go to the store, it's going to have this person on it. So the backlash to me seems weird, because it was like, it don't affect you in any way. That person's transgender. Right. Now, it sucks, because I see those young ladies in sorority, they were on Megyn Kelly's show, which is probably anti-transgender. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say that. I'm guessing it, speculating. But, they get tied in with the right-wing media right. Because they obviously are pushing that agenda. And it's like, these girls ain't even on that Bud Light type shit where it's just like, we just don't like it just because it is. They really feel...
No, they had a case. When I heard it, I was like the administration, they're effed up for telling them, well, if you don't like it, drop out, essentially. Like... No, because there's a safety issue here that we're talking about. It's not even about... I mean, obviously, we can't ignore the elephant in the room that like the person is transgender, but it's still a safety issue.
But I think, but the point I'm even going, it shouldn't even have to be a safety issue. It should really be... It's like, how you make a group of people... Because the sororities aren't chosen by all the members voting on a person. I don't think so. No. I think it's a group of people at the top who are choosing who decides to actually go on. So it's like, you can't be like, oh, well, let's take a group vote and all that. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's murky. Like, everything, we talk about the transgender issue a lot on this show, and it always ends with saying, yo, it's a gray area, it's murky, you know what I'm saying? And it's 9 times out of 10, I think it's typically something brought up to be discriminatory. This is the 1 out of 10 where I'm like, they actually got some. Maybe 2 out of 10, because there's some of the sports things I heard, like, And I'm not going to take credit for this, because I might have been Charlamagne that brought this up as well. Why are women always being in these scenarios? Because I guess in the sports you could say that the women... I don't know if you heard about it. It was a tournament. I want to say it was basketball, where they refused to play against a transgender athlete on the other team, and then they got punished basically because they got forfeited out of the tournament.
Makes sense.
But there was a safety issue. Right? They didn't want to play against someone that was bigger than them or someone that might have had more physical strength than them.
Were they going to lose?
I don't know.
Because I feel like if they knew they were going to win, it probably wouldn't have mattered. Was this person... I don't
know. That I don't know. But it's also going to be... They don't still want to be on the court. Like, I don't know. I'm not a girl. So it's like, anybody you put on the court, I'm like, yo, let's play. But
I suspect that they felt they were
going to lose because of
advantage because if they felt we can
but they're allowed. But I feel like they're allowed to feel like that. If you had we had a women's football team.
I agree. Like if that if it's clearly like that whole swimming thing last year. I mean, that swimmer clearly had an advantage. You couldn't tell me that swimmer did not have an advantage.
And that's
so
another.
I don't think that. So when it comes to sports, I am okay with we're having all these new legislation coming. I'm okay with all of that. As it pertains to female sports, I don't think it translates the same when you start talking about men's sports. But when it comes to female sports, there is an argument. And I'm okay with it.
And then, but I think the point I was trying to say is even women always keep being put on the back burner in this sorority situation. You don't like it, get lost. Like, they was born women. Like, so why that, like, I get what their argument is. It's like, yo, we've been in this sorority for hundreds of years, and now we're being told because another group wants to join, now we have to get to the backside. But while
it's not because of the other group more than it is
the safety.
Right.
Yeah. But as I was just saying that, I'm pretty sure the same thing was brought up when segregation in schools were brought up to let black people in the schools. Like, we went to this school for hundreds of years, and now we got to let these people in. So it sucks that it sounds the same, but it's not. Everything is nuanced, and everything is you got to be looked at on a case-by-case basis.
And I think we have a hard time doing that. Like, the whole understanding the nuance piece. So
yeah, because it's the way media is set up. Yeah. You got to be on this side or the other side. Which is why I like what we do here at Perfect Talk Podcast. Go tell a friend to tell a friend. Because we're going to talk about it. Cancel me. I don't need to win every conversation. And I don't think I think people should be allowed. Every view you have isn't going to be politically correct. Right. And you should be allowed to express it. Now, I'm also willing to sit down with someone who has the opposite opinion. And let's talk. We don't yell at each other and insult each other. We got to fight. Let's talk it out. Let's figure, you know what I'm saying?
It's okay to have a different opinion, people.
I feel this way because, you know what I'm saying? Like 90% of the time, I'm going to be like, whatever you identify as, I'm going to be like, let them in. Let the group in. Let them do what they're going to do. But you got to give me that grace to be like, a couple times, like, this one, maybe not. Right. That one, maybe not. Like, no one's going to do this because no one's going to build another bathroom. But if you told me that transgender people wanted their own bathroom, I'd be like, that makes sense. I think that would everyone would be happy in that scenario, right? But then no one's gonna build a third bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just it's not financially, it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? And then they don't feel strongly enough about this group of people to want to. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and we're gonna talk about it a little later. But now people are boycotting businesses. Like you see with the Bud Light thing we brought up before, you know what I mean? Like that if you even show love or show like you cool with that, so it's like businesses are in a murky place right now. But I just want to point a little spotlight at that, man, and really just discuss it and see how we felt about that. But next up, we're gonna bring it to my guy Spec segment. This one is called "Put Some Respect on My Name."
My name come up, respect. Yeah.
Let's go.
Stop playing with my name.
This is when I bring a headline up and I'll see if my guy Spec got respect for it or a little bit of speculation.
Let's do it.
Let's get it. Robert De Niro. He's 79 years old and he has just had his 7th child. Robert De Niro. How do you feel about that? Respect or speculations about like older men? I'm gonna say maybe it was a rocker, either Steven Tyler or Mick Jagger recently. I think they have young children, like super young children, and it's like, how do you feel about the older men fathering children that they're probably not going to be alive to, walk down the aisle or even graduate from high school, maybe?
I think about these things because, like, I'm pushing 40, and I haven't completely closed the door on extra kids, so. And I do think about that. Well, if I have a kid at 40, 42, 45, like, how long am I going to be around
in their life?
Like, would I see their children? Like, so I do, I don't have, I'm a pick a side, right? I don't have speculation. I think it's, there's nothing wrong. If you could father a child, I just hope when you do father this child and you're an older person, that there are resources in place that, you know, obviously you're not going to live forever, you know, that this child is still taken care of well after you're gone.
And most of the ones we hear about, they're multimillionaires.
Yeah,
you know
yeah. So, I mean,
in
in those situations, I'm okay with it.
That's the thing, though. Like, I think about that. It's like, just because your kid is being born a millionaire, it's still got to suck that they're not going to grow up without their father.
I mean,
or something like that. You know what I mean?
sucks.
And then who knows what medical might advances might do? You know what I'm saying? Like, even I'm in the same boat. Like, I have a kid, and I'm not closing the door yet on having any more. And I do think about that. Like, they'll be 18. How old will I be at their high school graduation? How old will I be at the college? And it's just like, but I also on the flip side of that, I don't view life the way we did. Like, if you told me I was on the edge of turning 40, I'd have been like, oh man. Then the imagination, like what I would envision of that, would have been much older. Right. It wouldn't be this dude wearing Nirvana t-shirts and fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what else I do that's young. Nirvana t-shirts the only thing I do. Some shit from the 90s. I guess I am old now, but like I would have felt older. You know what I'm saying? Like if we really broke it down and really think. But as I'm here now, I feel young. I feel great. I feel, you know what I'm saying, not too mentally. I don't feel that much different than I did at 30.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Other than I'm making smarter decisions, but you know what I'm saying? Like it really, I could see.
I mean, as long as you're not doing it at like 90. I mean, at least, you know, be around, like, through their teen years or something, like, you know what I'm saying? So,
but it's also at what capacity are you around at those years, too?
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, but that could be the situation for anybody. You never know what the future holds for you, so, but, you know.
You know, the only thing I was wondering about this is the kid black? Because I think all of Robert De Niro's kids are black. I'm pretty sure.
So there's an adopted kid.
No, he messes with black women.
Really?
Yeah, he's got a thing for the sisters.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, all his baby moms. I think all of his ex-wives they're all black too.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Okay. Diane Abbott.
Okay, Robert.
He had a girlfriend named Tukey Smith. And then he had another wife named Grace Hightower. Tukey Smith and Grace Hightower sound black as hell. They sound black as hell. Now, I heard that about Robert De Niro years ago, that he was into the sisters. It's like weird because he's into all the Italian gangster films.
Right. That's why I didn't even.
Yeah.
Okay.
Respect or speculation. Ja Morant posted some cryptic posts to his Instagram stories. I don't know if you checked it out, I can show you in a second, but one of them said, love your ma. It was a picture of him shooting with his mom sitting behind him. Love your pops, picture of him hugging his pops. You the greatest baby girl, blue heart, love you. And he's a picture with him and his daughter. And then, you know how the stories go, you know, you just go to the next one. And then the final one was just bye. And he's just talking, back turned to the camera, microphone, so I'll show you real quick so you can see it. Those are the first two, love your mom, love your pops. And then he had his daughter. And then he just ended it with bye. And I think I'm pretty sure they're reporting that they did a wellness check on him to see exactly what he had going on. I don't know how true that is, but it came to the fact that there was a lot of speculation. Like, is this a suicidal post?
Like he's looking for attention.
That's it. I saw that more like that. Like, not even really looking for attention, but like, I'm going to shout out the people that has been riding with me, kind of thing. But it also leans itself to that. Because I've tweeted
bye.
like
Come on, man.
I've tweeted song lyrics and not even trying to get that reaction, and like just weird, like, I don't know, cryptic song lyrics. And I have had people be like, yo, it was like, hit up, like, show us something, what's going on with Playboy, or what's going on. So I know the reaction that gets. So I'd be careful ever since, you know, something like that happened, what's going on. But yeah, I guess respect or speculation, you think there's something really going on with y'all, or you think he's fiending for attention?
I don't think nothing going on with that man. He's just looking for attention.
It's like when your kid gets in trouble.
That's
and then they want to like bang their knee.
He's clearly like still very young, and you know, he'll be alright.
What's your thoughts on that whole thing with Ja Morant? I never got to really talk to you about that, but just young man bullshit.
You know, yeah, that's what I hate to just like say they're stupid, because the reality, I mean, doing kid shit. I mean, now all kids don't do the same. It depends on where you grow up, how you grow up, all of those things. But you know, these kids nowadays with social media and the shit that they do, again, I try not to judge, because if social media was around when we were that young, in its current form today, we would be doing dumb shit too.
Yep.
Now
we did do dumb shit. We just didn't have we had the camera phones, but not the good ones.
Yeah, you know, there's levels of dumb shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to know better.
How old is he? 23.
He's 23. I mean,
I wasn't guns. I'm not around guns like that. So I always think there's nothing cool about posting guns. I never thought that. And the most I would do is maybe
some people do.
Yeah, if we were at a gun range, I'd post a picture of us at the gun range or something like that. But that makes sense. If we went hunting, which you don't, you know what I'm saying? I'd probably post that picture. But holding guns just to look gangster, that never been a cool thing. And I know a lot of people that got in trouble for that. So not that particular act, but then they eventually get in trouble with the people who do that. So it's never been cool to me. But at 23, I was definitely posting things in an attempt to make myself look cool. Now this is
but everybody does that. But so that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, clearly, you know, he's, I don't want to say familiar with guns, but he likes guns and, you know, young, and he seems to hang around a crowd that probably likes guns too. And so they're going to do what people who like guns do. And I mean, we see shit like this in videos, you know, and he's not from the hood. I don't even think he grew up in the hood.
Nah.
I think he grew up in a middle class family. So I mean,
I don't know. Well, you know what? That's that I've heard both sides. I heard he's from like a super small town, like 2,000 people or something like that. But then I also hear the other side of it. Like, and here's my thing. I don't. We can go look off a picture that he took with a family photo, and everybody calling him soft over that. I don't know the man. I'm not gonna judge him for being soft. I don't even think it's post guns or you want to post guns. It just looks wild. Every time you posting guns, you rapping at the same time. That's what makes it not seem authentic to me. Like, that seems like you done it, I've done it. You hear your favorite rap song and you kind of want to be like you're the person performing it. You know what I'm saying? That's when it gets a little like, all right, now it's kind of corny. You know what I mean? But it's to your point, young people doing young people shit with just way too many cameras around and way too much money on the line. Respect or speculation. Target is removing some of its LGBTQ merchandise following customer backlash. So I don't know why, but Target goes hard in the paint around this time of year, right? Because Pride Month, I think, is June. So they roll out their Pride collection, which they do for every holiday. I know right around the corner, Juneteenth, shit is probably gonna pop up at Target. Before Cinco de Mayo shit was popping up, or end of January, the Black History Month stuff was popping up. Yeah. No, it is on brand for them. So Target rolled out its Pride collection at the start of May. They're now pulling back some of their products after the store is facing customer backlash, saying it was acting to protect employee safety. Target is offering more than 2,000 products, including clothing, books, music, and home furnishings as part of this Pride collection. I can read. The items include gender-fluid mugs, queer all-year calendars, and books for children aged 2 to 8 titled Bye Bye Binary, Pride 123, and I'm Not a Girl. I think the biggest thing, right? I don't think anyone could have a case. From what I'm understanding, Target's been getting a lot of calls. Target has had confrontations with people in the store, with the employees. Target
regarding the items?
The items, correct. Now, where I think the beef comes from is, you know how Target does it, male mannequin, female mannequin, kid mannequin. They got a lot of clothes, Pride related for the kids, right? Response will be the same thing I told the people who don't like Bud Lights. Just don't shop there or don't buy it. Don't walk right past that section. Mm-hmm. Don't buy it. But it also, I'm going to play the other side of it. Why does Target need to make Pride clothes for children? Like, I don't. Now, you know, as I was asking the question, I could see a scenario. Like, if you have 2 gay parents, then you might, hey, I want to represent that. I've never met anyone that had 2 gay parents, or, you know, I don't get why it has to be on the kids. That's the thing, and I think that's where this argument comes from. I'm not, hey, buy what you want for your own kids. I don't care. Like, if
that's where the legitimate argument comes from.
And I'm not even mad at Target for selling it. Like, Target is, I just told y'all, Target's not doing this because they like gay people. They're doing it because they like money. They doing it because they know people are gonna buy stuff based on the time of the year, and that's a retail. That's the reason they're Target. But you're just giving people, I guess, and not that Target could have seen this coming, because I'm sure they've done it in years past. I think the first time they've done it, but it's like you are giving people ammo when you could say that you're going at the kids, because that's what everyone. That's the only defense that they have against us. Like Ted Cruz is trying to do that with the Bud Light thing. He's trying to say Bud Light's marketing towards kids. They're not marketing towards kids. They're actually marketing towards women, to be honest with you, with the transgender artists, because they don't sell beer like they sell seltzer. That fucking alcoholic seltzer is off the chart. Like, that shit's always off the shelves. Always, you know what I'm saying? So they just realizing that the old stereotype of fat male, 50-year-old drinking Bud Light isn't what it used to be. That's not their demographic anymore. But Target is really like, what are you doing here, Target? Because I will say, I don't understand why we have to have clothing. Now, the books, that's another thing, because that's on a parent-by-parent basis. I don't have conversations with my daughter about that. The only conversation, I think she had a student that went to her after-school program last year, and it was I think she was telling me about it, and it was a person, I saw the person wearing a dress, but then she said the name, and it sounded like a male name. So I was like, that was like the only conversation with her. I was like, is that a boy or a girl? And she was like, it's a boy. And then, like, I think she even realized in a second while I was asking her, she was like, boys are allowed to wear dresses too. I didn't really have a problem with her making that comment. To me, it was just like, yeah, it is. I mean, some of your favorite rappers wear dresses, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, and we kind of just moved on from it, you know what I mean, and went on from there. So for me, it was like really a situation where it was like, I don't, if you want to teach that to your kids, you have the right to. Like, I think that you're making them better citizens by making them aware of everything that's out here. But it's also like, that's my choice. I decide to do that. So I wouldn't join any of these boycotts. If I really had a problem with it, I would just walk past that. But do you got respect or speculation for Target actually taking it down in response to this?
I mean, I would say they should have left it up probably. Mm-hmm. Only because if you put it out, I would like to think if you put it out, you obviously should have known what was going to come from it. And so once you make that decision, there's no need to backtrack. You know, if people going to rock with it, they're going to rock with it. And the ones who don't, they don't. I'm just not big on when anybody does something and then when everybody, okay, I'm sorry. Like, no, like, you know, unless you genuinely made a mistake, stand by your decision.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Period.
Now, I respect it in a sense if it was making, we both worked in retail before, if it was making it really uncomfortable for the employees, I respect the higher ups.
Okay, so I'm not addressing it from the employees' perspective. I'm just looking at just from the public, like,
because even though I think
you can't please everybody.
I think it's a small population that's really upset about this. But if it's making day by day uncomfortable for the people that are on the front lines,
that's different.
Now, but here's the thing, right? And to your point, I do say if you put it out, keep it up. You're empowering those people. Those people think they got something over Bud Light, right? Mm-hmm. I don't even think they did, to be honest with you. I think Bud Light stock might have started getting a little, like, dips and whatnot in it. Bud Light has never been mentioned on this podcast more than it's been on this year. Just this podcast. Mm-hmm. Bud Light, if you search it, is probably the searches through the roof. So Bud Light would easily save the money on Super Bowl advertising to get this many mentions. Right. And you know what I'm saying? Like, because they know how news cycle works. No one's gonna give a fuck about this in 6 months. You're gonna be 6 months. Right. So, and you just got the free advertising. Bud Light. Whether it's bad news, good news, anything. As long as the beer ain't killing people, motherfuckers gonna buy it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like but in their heads, the Kid Rocks of the world who shoot it up, people who say they're gonna have boycotts, they think they won, and now they think they won with Target. So now it's everything. They think that we could just go make some noise, make sure we're uncomfortable, and shake shit down. And it's like, you also could just fucking ignore it. You also could just walk right past it. You also could choose to teach your kid what you want to teach your kid about. And don't be mad if your kid don't agree with you and say someone pushing an agenda. Your kid just might be smarter than you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Your kid just might be more inclusive than you are. And it's just like, you got to accept it. We can't control what people identify as. We can't control what people want to be proud of. We can't control. But it's like, I don't give a fuck if it's Asian American Pride Month, let them celebrate. How does that affect me in any type of way? If it's gay pride, like, it's rock out. It don't affect me in any type of way. Like, it don't make me feel like less of a person. It don't.
And that's just really the underlying problem. It's like people care like about shit that has nothing
to do with them, bro. So we're gonna see how Target reacts on this. It's a tricky situation, but wish them the best, man. And I'm just all not with the only thing is I'm not with the whole like. Well, I think Target I'll let slide because Target I feel has been very inclusive for a while. Mm-hmm. They're not just jumping on a trend, but yeah, but with like the Juneteenth stuff and all that, like come on, we can do without that. But Spec, we're gonna move on with the show, man. Move on to my favorite segments called "Have You Heard?" That's when I bring headlines to the table and I see if my guy Spec has heard. Spec, Ron DeSantis launched his presidential campaign. He decided he was gonna do it on Twitter Spaces, and it was real janky. Real janky. Now Twitter Spaces, that's like Twitter's version of Clubhouse.
Okay.
So it's just another weird way to do it because it's like it's audio, and it's like you could pick any media company in the world. Like why would you choose that? And then the fact that it was a little bit of a shaky rollout is definitely. I think it crashed, right? If I'm not mistaken.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, but that's what I heard.
And then the spin on it, which is to his credit, he's like, we broke the internet. You know what I mean? Also, raised $8.2 million in the first 24 hours of his campaign, which is really impressive. Big number. But even that's coming with a little bit of controversy because they're saying there's possible illegal campaign funding. He's using his gubernatorial staff to actually help raise funds for his presidential campaign from people who need assistance from his gubernatorial status. So it's kind of like, I mean, he hasn't decided on the budget yet. From what I understand, it's like you want to be in the budget, you better be in this budget. You know what I mean? Which we're gonna see how that works out for him. But I mean, what you think? Like, you think DeSantis stands a chance? You think Trump about to shut it down? I mean, he's gonna have to get better on social media.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard because I mean, you know, Trump has a lot of legal issues, so I don't know what's gonna come of that in the next year and a half. Obviously, DeSantis, without a doubt, is right there with him in terms of popularity. So, but, you know, Tim Scott also entered into the race this week, who is the only black senator.
Oh, did he enter? Okay.
And I actually watched, like, part of his not come out party, but his announcement. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I'm not going to vote for him because, but he's not Barack, but you know he's black and he has a certain type of swag or whatever, like a way with words and you know, and I was like okay.
South Carolina, right?
Yeah, and like similar like with Barack, when Barack entered in the race in 2008, he was a nobody.
Out of nowhere, right? Yeah.
And so I mean I could see. I mean, only time is gonna tell, but look out for Tim Scott.
Yeah, we'll see. I did that. Shout out
his message. I liked his message.
He's Republican, right?
He's Republican.
Okay, so that make 4 of them in there now. Nikki Haley.
Yeah, but he's nothing like, you know, Trump and DeSantis. Like he's a Republican that if I was like, oh, if I wanted to consider a Republican, maybe I could.
That's the person you did the toe
like
with.
This.
Yeah, I got you.
Because he seems very sensible.
That's
like,
the thing
he's
too.
Not all the way to the either side.
That's the thing too, because it's like somebody. No one's gonna be the exact thing that you want them to be. Nobody's gonna be everything to everybody, but that makes you more realistic to me when you can actually have sensibilities to it. So it's like I definitely could respect that. You know what I mean? You don't gotta like fall in line and be like I'm Mr. Republican, abortion, this, that. You know what I mean? Like I believe you more if you're a little bit of this, a little more to moderate. You know what I'm saying? More in the middle. You know what I mean? No, I can see where DeSantis is gonna have some issues though going up against Trump just because of the swag. Like Trump is good on the mic, Trump is good with the Twitter fingers, so we're gonna see what they can do.
Nobody's gonna outbeat him on that.
But I respect it because going up against it, don't be afraid of it. You know what I'm saying? Like just be like you beat them in other ways. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta because I'm tired of the mudslinging is part of elections, but. It don't gotta be high school. It don't gotta be fucking Nas versus Jay-Z out there. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like
it will be with them too.
It will be, but it don't have to be. You know what I'm saying? I wish we could get back to the way. But Spec, Have you heard the Supreme Court keeps the social media legal shield in place with the win for Twitter and Google? Basically, they were being sued for people that claim that they provided assistance to the Islamic State terrorists. Basically, the suit was that Twitter and Google didn't take down videos that promote terrorist action and terrorist activity. And this was a good lawsuit because it would have created a precedent that probably would have been very hard to bounce back from about what can be on there and not. And I mean, it sucks for people who lost the lawsuit, but I do kind of like the fact that Twitter shouldn't be afraid to put stuff out there based off worried about, oh, are we going to get sued for this? You know what I mean? I'm glad that that's in place, but I also want Twitter and Google and all these social media sites to step up and provide security when they see unsafe shit or shit that could lead to a dangerous place.
I mean, that's kind of...
It's a murky water, right? You can't want both. You can't want the freedom to have that and then give them that. No, but it all came from a 2017 shooting in Istanbul. They felt like they did nothing to take down any of this stuff. They spread a lot of their moves on social media. There were videos posted to social media, and yeah, I think we just want someone to blame at that point. It's
I mean, that's too much of a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because if you say, oh, well, they should be able to take that down, then what else could they be able to take down? It
goes with, like, Twitter banning Trump, where I'm like, that sets a wild precedent. Now you have to hold that down for everybody that you feel, you know what I mean, comes even close to that, and you probably won't. Right. Spec, have you heard? A lot of controversy going on with Egypt and art. One of them involves my guy Nas. Remember the Nas album cover where he had like the it was like a King Tut.
Pharaoh.
Yeah. It was like it was the cover of I Am, and it's basically like a gold Nas face with like kind of like a pharaoh head garb on. There's been like pushback on it, saying that this is a cultural appropriation. Basically, like Egyptian people don't really like Egyptian figures being portrayed by blacks, right? This just came up recently in the issue with Jada Pinkett made a documentary about black queens, and it's got a lot of backlash because the woman playing Cleopatra is actually a mixed race woman that looks black, where people are feeling like this is the best argument for why critical race theory is stupid or whatever the ban is to not teach kids about the actual state of history, because the history of Egypt has been raped and pillaged that don't nobody even know what the people of back in this time look like from now. Like culture in Hollywood had Elizabeth Taylor playing Cleopatra, had white actresses playing her. I was taught in 5th grade, Egypt's in Africa. People in Egypt, you know what I mean, look like me and you. You know what I'm saying? At that time. I don't know how true that was, but I do know it's in Africa. I didn't learn that until I was in 5th grade. You know what I'm saying? I told somebody that recently and they didn't know that. You know, they as a grown adult. You know what I'm saying? So for what Jada Pinkett is trying to do, I respect, because it's possible she was. It's possible she did look like this, but she is getting backlash from actual people in Egypt that feel like you're trying to blackwash history. You're trying to make this a black thing. And I'm like, well, this is why history needs to be taught accurately. Because Egypt has been like raped and pillaged and people gone through the pyramids and taking all the artifacts and all types of shit. It's like, you really don't know. We really don't know. So when a woman like Jada Pinkett wants to make a project that looks like this, one is stupid. Anyone should be able to play anyone. I feel like if you want to, like, unless you get a white actor to play a historic, like Nelson Mandela.
I feel like we know, because we know science is able to kind of tell through genetics and all of that stuff. Like, people in Egypt, they weren't Europeans.
They didn't look like Elizabeth Taylor,
right? And so, I mean, whatever the backlash is of the people who are upset, you can kick rocks.
I think, the thing with Cleopatra specifically was she was Macedonian, and they know who her father is, but I don't think they know who her mother is, which is weird. So because of her her mother's identity and background remain disputed.
Okay, maybe a specific person, fine, but
we do know that the people of Egypt looked a certain type of way, and that they might not look like the people who live there today. So for the people today to get offended, like they wanted, I think they were upset about Gal Gadot. Remember, she plays Wonder Woman, and she looks pretty European. She's a beautiful woman, but she looks pretty European. She's actually Israeli, and in 2020 she was cast as Cleopatra for an upcoming project. People complain that it should have been an Arab or Arab or African actress that got the part. Her response was a Macedonian actress was not available. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody came forth to do this. They wanted a star. You know what I'm saying? And I don't buy that. I don't feel like I think Chris Pratt, who's in the Mario movie, somebody was like, we should have got a real Italian to play. I'm like, what? A video game character? Like we are getting too out of hand with this, bro. Like, and I also think some of that's Jada Pinkett hate. You know what I'm saying? People just want to hate on this guy because apparently Clean Cleopatra was released this month and it's achieved one of the lowest ratings on Rotten Tomatoes.
But I think that'll happen with any, like, I don't know, like if they remade the 5 Heartbeats and they cast them all white people, you're gonna have a bunch of black people saying
it's gonna be upset with it. Yeah.
So man, just listen to it.
The Nas thing is weird too because the Nas thing is just an art exhibit, and it's like you.
I mean, I took it as I am king. And, so whatever.
But it does go to show this is why we need to stop burning books. We need to stop banning books and let these kids learn history. Because what you get is a bunch of adults that grow up and don't know history and sound stupid as hell arguing over dumb shit to begin with, man. Spec, have you heard, man? Rest in peace to Tina Turner. Tina Turner passed away, man. What's the first Tina Turner song I remember is Rolling on the River, right? What's that, Sweet Mary or whatever it's called? But I remember that. I remember when that song was a really young age. I don't know why. Maybe my parents listened to it. But I knew that was the first time I knew who Tina Turner was. And shout out to, I think this is the perfect example of why you should make biopics. Because that movie, I think, made her famous to a whole nother generation. What's Love Got to Do with it? Okay. With Angela Bassett. Like, that was a great movie for just her story. Like, I heard things about her. I don't even know if I knew about the domestic violence stuff before that movie came out. But I had heard things about her. But that movie, I think, made her a star. She was already a star, obviously. Right. But made her a star in a generation that would have probably forgotten about her. You know what I mean? So, yeah, rest in peace to Tina Turner, man. That one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a loss, man. Also, man, we gotta give our thoughts and prayers to Fetty Wap. Sentenced to 6 years in prison for drug trafficking. He pled guilty in October. Conspiracy to distribute at least 500 grams of cocaine. It seemed like Fetty Wap was running a huge drug ring, which is silly, right? Because you're known, right? He actually was arrested on his way to perform at Rolling Loud. You know what I'm saying? So when you're the biggest name in a group of people, right? And then you're involving yourself in that type of stuff, it's only going to be a matter of time. Why Fetty Wap felt like he still had to operate in that lifestyle, you know what I mean, is unknown. But
I mean, you have to think about it, right? I mean, he doesn't have too many hits. So, I mean, in terms of lifestyle and money coming in, I'm sure that drug operation really supplemented his income.
Oh, 5,000%.
And so that's probably what it all boils down to.
He had a hot summer. Right? We had one, but it's like, how
but
could you...
that hot summer, I mean...
How long does that sustain you?
Well,
exactly.
His record still plays.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know, like, what the deal was and if he still sees royalty checks from it or what the case may be. So, I mean, I'm sure that's he needed money.
Or niggas sometimes niggas sell their rights. Like, you see a lot of people doing it now that have big catalogs.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you got a big song, I'm sure there's people coming at you like, yo, I'll give you a couple hundred... whatever, you know what I'm saying? Let me get the rights to your song. If you're hurting for cash, you'll take that. You know what I'm saying?
Flip this.
But it's also like, what is like, I think we as a society got to get out of is we assume that just because people are on television that they're making a ton of money. Like, I heard Mace talk about this recently, like why he had to leave. He was like, because he was still in the hood and people thought he was making a ton of money, not knowing you signed to Puff Daddy. He ain't, he probably wasn't getting as much as he should have been getting. And then, but he was right there accessible. So it's like, so then when you don't got the money to give people, they think you're selfish. They think you're being foul. So it's like, that's only going to end. You know how many stories have you heard of rappers? Huh? Yeah. Because we heard of rappers getting killed in their own hood, you know what I mean, by the people that's around them because you do become a target. And then also it's like, I hear a lot of like people that we see on Euphoria, right? I think one of the Euphoria actresses came out and was like, we don't make that much money from the show. Like, you kind of assume because someone's on a hit show that they're making a ton of money, and they be living in apartments, like, you know what I'm saying? And how they be struggling to make it. So it's like, everybody's on their grind. One, people ain't always smart with their decisions because they think the money's going to keep constantly rolling in. And then two, it's like, you see a lot of people start podcasts and do independent things because that's keeps money rolling in. It's like, you ain't got to dance all you know what I'm saying, right. Tap dance just to get a check. But it sucks that someone like Fetty Wap, who I would think was at the beginning of a very lucrative rap career, would find himself in this type of trouble. But you know what I mean, thoughts and prayers to him. Obviously could have been much worse, but definitely, you know what I mean, hold your head up and come back, man. You know what I mean? A lot of people come back and still do something with their lives when they come out, so don't think it's the end of anything, you know what I mean? Keep doing your thing. But Spec, before we get up out of here, man, we got to do one of my favorite segments, brother. Things I seen on the internet. That's why I see a couple of funny things. I see my guy Spec, you know what I mean, reacts to him. All right, so this first one is a video of a baseball announcer.
He had a phenomenal day today. Nigger League Museum and Arthur Bryant's Barbecue. He had a phenomenal day today. Nigger League Museum and Arthur Bryant's Barbecue.
Why the other dude don't react? How many, maybe they was just throwing nigger around all day that he didn't even react to that shit. Like, he didn't even like, oh shit, nigga. Can't say that shit, bro.
The Nigger League Museum.
That's crazy, bro. That was smooth though. It just flowed off his tongue, man. So he lost his job. Believe it or not. Can't call it the Nigger League Museum. What's going on, brother? Things I've seen on the internet. So look in the background. This is a snowboarder, right? Let's see if I can full screen it. She's snowboarding. She's still on the Rihanna. She got the headphones on. Look in the background. She can't see what's behind her. Obviously, she's just snowboarding with like a selfie stick. And the microphone from the camera's picking that shit up. That motherfucker was keeping up, though. She just out in the middle of nowhere, too, bro. I wonder when she watched that footage, like... Cause you know, like if she would have in the moment seen that bear, she would have fucking been like, nah, nah, son. I think that would have made her slip. She would have busted her ass. That shit was on her ass, bro. Yeah. She did like a jump, like off a bank, and that shit was on her ass, bro. That nigga was right there. Don't play with wilderness, bro. You can't just be out in the middle of nowhere. Spec. I don't know if I sent you this video. You might have seen this one. But this Asian woman recreated herself as Kobe.
No, I've never seen this.
See, I'm not mad at that.
I'm not mad.
I don't call that blackface.
People gonna have a problem with it. I mean, that's great. I mean,
that is great for being an Asian woman looking like that much like Kobe. That is crazy. But here's one thing with blackface, right? Where it's tricky because blackface was used racially, like in a racially demeaning way. Anytime you see someone do an impression of someone that's black and they actually did put the color on their face, you can be like, oh, that's blackface. That's just not. Blackface done right is acceptable.
That's not blackface.
Yeah,
that
one is brownface. That's true. But she's also not trying to make black people look like coons, like, you know what I'm saying, like it's a minstrel show. She actually looks like Kobe Bryant. Tropic Thunder. Was it Robert De Niro? No, Robert Downey Jr. Excuse me. Robert Downey Jr. does a great job at it. And that, you can't tell me that he's obviously in blackface, you know what I'm saying? But it's like Jimmy Kimmel when he did Chris Rock. No, Jimmy Kimmel did Karl Malone. I think what's the other one? What's the other one? Jimmy Fallon did the Chris Rock one. If it's done correctly, we'll let it slide.
Right.
It's just when you just do it as a Halloween costume and I'm just gonna take pictures and fucking that's blackface, you know what I'm saying? But we'll let some shit slide. Which brings us to this next video, man. It's a dude, he's a bare knuckle fighter, got into a bit of a kerfuffle. But the way that he uses the oh wait, won't not let me see it on this? Oh, let's show it to you on my phone, man. Yeah, I said I gotta log in. So basically he gets in a bit of a fight, but the way that he uses the N-word, I almost kinda wanna just let it slide, bro. I'll allow it.
I'll stay here. Let's go.
I'll show you the whole
I'll stay here. What do you want?
Go, Mike. Where's your phone?
I'll just wait here, bro. Don't worry about it. No. Y'all calling the cops? I'll stay because if I leave and y'all call, no. I have a side. I don't have to go anywhere. I am.
Again,
Tell them to bring the cops.
sound
I'm
drunk,
bringing the cops because if I leave, then I'm. Did you touch me? Oh, you didn't touch me?
Trying to calm you down, bro. You were hitting my
He touched me.
You were hitting my fucking
So he touched me. He touched me. You can all lie here if you want to. You hit him. Mike's right. You hit him, bro. You hit him. But y'all gonna tell the police that I fucking you know the police. I'm not. I'll knock your old ass out too. You do it, motherfucker. You fat piece of shit. Hey, no. Hey,
You wanna hit a quitter.
you have my picture.
And now you definitely gonna do it. Listen how he uses the N-word, bro.
You wanna touch him too? Back up, nigga! Back the fuck up! Call the police! Please stop! Call the police! I ain't do shit! Nah, nigga, fuck you, nigga!
Where did that come from, bro? he used it like a black person would, and he didn't direct it at a black person. I kind of be like, yo, I might let it slide. It's like when you hear a kid curse.
When I heard, I don't feel no.
I think that I think he uses that all the time in conversations.
Yes,
that was way too natural. But I don't know. I didn't feel racism.
Because the way it just comes off the tongue.
He had to learn that from black people.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's too natural.
Nah, nigga. Nah. Where'd that come from, bro? Yo, Spec, that is another episode in the books, my guy. You know what that reminds me? I was talking about it on last week. Did you hear about the teacher that used the N-word in class and the girl recording him? And then she got suspended.
Yeah, I didn't understand that part.
It's
Did
a
they
stupid.
say why she got because she's not supposed to have.
You can't record because of his minors. Because you can't, and none of the students are allowed to be recording stuff because. But every school probably has that written in their bylaws. It's like on a case-by-case basis, if you're stopping an injustice from happening by recording it, I think you should let it slide.
I was confused. I didn't stick around to hear the entire story.
Yeah.
I just heard she got suspended, and I heard what the fucking teacher was saying. I'm like, she got suspended?
The teacher got let go. I think he resigned. But he just wanted to use the N-word so bad. He was like, let me start a debate about it and say nigger every single time because I'm protected. That guy got away with it. That's how you get away with it, bro. Use that shit towards white people and a whole nother. Then you can use it as much as you want. But that motherfucker thought he was just gonna say it in the class. You got black kids warning, bro. You gonna lose your job, man. I'm not threatening you.
He wanted to say that shit. He wanted to say it so bad.
So bad, bro. Go hang out with my guy over here, Mike Perry, I think his name is. Y'all, Spec, another episode in the books, man.
Sir.
We up out of here, but thank you for coming through. We appreciate it.
Tell the people where they can find you.
Oh man, I was gonna ask you, but they can't find you nowhere, right? But you can find me on social media on Twitter at DJPLICCAPLAYBOY. One of these ones I'm pointing at DJPLAYBOY. Also on Instagram at PLICCAPEEZY, PLICCAPEEZY. Also follow Perfect Talk on Instagram at Perfect Talk Radio. Right there on Instagram. Go to our website www.perfecttalkpodcast.com. We got every episode of Perfect Talk, Money Talks Radio. The night shift, you know what I'm saying? The whole shebang. So go check that out right there. It's all found. What else? What else we got going on? Oh, you can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Google Podcasts. You can find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on iHeartRadio. You can find us wherever your favorite podcasts are sold or available. And if it's not there, let us know so we can get it up on there. You know what I mean? Because we're making big moves in 2023. Go check out First and 15 Mix. It dropped this May, you know what I'm saying? So go check that out. I did a remix of Notorious B.I.G. Party and Bullshit. So go show some support and love to that. Just go keep it moving. Spec, what you other than playoffs, man, anything new you getting into?
Nah, I mean, I've just been watching the playoffs. Only good thing about Lakers losing, now I can get to bed at a more reasonable time.
But wasn't the game starting at the same time?
Well,
in the finals.
The conference finals, they were.
Yeah.
But the previous 2 rounds.
Yeah, they started late games. Yeah. Now I hear you. I'm ready for this birthday, man. It's been a busy week. I'm just ready to just chill, relax, enjoy another year, man. Feel blessed to be here. Every day's a blessing. So I'm just enjoying it, man. Everybody out there, by the time you hear this, Memorial Day will pass, but I'm wishing y'all a happy Memorial Day weekend. Have a safe one. Do not drink and drive. Spread love is the Brooklyn way. What did we learn from today's episode, Spec? Let me see. I'm trying to think.
Stop getting so mad about shit that got nothing to do with you.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
let people live.
You're right.
Worry about what's going on in your life.
Every debate, you ain't got to be on the same side of it. Like, we brought up 2 different stories about pride, transgender, and we were on both 2 different ends of the debate because every case needs a case-by-case basis. We are not no monolith. Don't just be like, I'm on this side. I'm against this. I'm against. Listen to people. Talk about it.
It's right to have a difference of opinion.
You ain't gonna lose your friends. Get out the echo chamber and spread love is the Brooklyn way, man. Peace and blessings to everybody out there, man. We up out of here.